Continuing with Leviticus 1:1. And the Lord called to Moshe and spoke to him out of the tent of meeting, saying, Speak to the children of Israel and say to them, If any man of you bring an offering to the Lord of the cattle, shall you bring your offering of the herd and of the flock. If his offering be a burnt sacrifice of the herd, let him offer a male without blemish. He shall offer it at the door of the tent of meeting, that he may be accepted before the Lord. And he shall put his hand upon the head of the burnt offering, and it shall be accepted for him to make atonement for him. And he shall kill the bullock before the Lord. And the priests, Aaron's sons, shall bring the blood and sprinkle the blood round about upon the altar that is by the door of the tent of meeting. And he shall flay the burnt offering and cut it into its pieces. And the sons of Aaron the priest shall put fire upon the altar, and lay the wood in order upon the fire. And the priests, Aaron's sons, shall lay the parts, the head and the fat, in order upon the wood that is on the fire, which is upon the altar. But its inwards and its legs shall he wash in water, and the priest shall burn all on the altar to be a burnt sacrifice, an offering made by fire of a sweet savor to the Lord. And if his offering be of the flocks, namely of the sheep or of the goats, for a burnt sacrifice, he shall bring it a male without blemish, and he shall kill it on the side of the altar northward before the Lord, and the priests, Aaron's sons, shall sprinkle its blood round about on the altar. And he shall cut it into its pieces, with its head and its fat, and the priest shall lay them in order on the wood that is on the fire which is on the altar. But he shall wash the inwards and the legs with water, and the priest shall bring it all, and burn it upon the altar. It is a burnt sacrifice, an offering made by fire, of a sweet savor to the Lord. And if the burnt sacrifice for his offering to the Lord be of birds, then he shall bring his offering of turtle doves or of young pigeons, and the priest shall bring it to the altar, and wring off its head, and burn it on the altar, and its blood shall be wrung out on the side of the altar. And he shall remove its crop with its feathers, and cast it beside the altar on the east part, by the place of the ashes, and he shall rend it by its wings, but shall not divide it asunder. And the priest shall burn it on the altar, on the wood that is on the fire. It is a burnt sacrifice, an offering made by fire, of a sweet savor to the Lord. And when any will offer a meal offering to the Lord, his offering shall be of fine flour, and he shall pour oil upon it, and put frankincense upon it. And he shall bring it to Aaron's sons, the priests, and he shall take from his handful of its fine flour, and of its oil with all its frankincense. And the priest shall burn the memorial part of it on the altar, to be an offering made by fire, a sweet savor to the Lord. And the remnant of the meal offering shall be Aaron's and his sons. It is a thing most holy of the offerings of the Lord made by fire. And if thou bring a sacrifice of meal offering baked in the oven, it shall be unleavened cakes of fine flour mingled with oil, or unleavened wafers anointed with oil. And if thy sacrifice be a meal offering baked in a pan, it shall be a fine flour unleavened mingled with oil. Thou shalt part it in pieces, and pour oil on it. It is a meal offering. And if thy sacrifice be a meal offering baked in a frying pan, it shall be made of fine flour with oil. And thou shalt bring the meal offering that is made of these things to the Lord. And when it is presented to the priest, he shall bring it to the altar. And the priest shall take from the meal offering its memorial part, and shall burn it on the altar. It is an offering made by fire, of a sweet savor to the Lord. And that which is left of the meal offering shall be Aaron and his sons. It is a thing most holy of the offerings of the Lord made by fire. No meal offering which you shall bring to the Lord shall be made with leaven, for you shall burn no leaven nor any honey in any offering of the Lord made by fire. As for the offerings of the first fruits, you shall offer them to the Lord, but they shall not be burnt on the altar for a sweet savor. And thy every meal offering that shalt thou season with salt. nor shalt thou suffer the salt of the covenant of thy God to be lacking from any meal offering. With all thy offerings thou shalt offer salt. And if thou offer a meal offering of thy first fruits to the Lord, thou shalt offer for the meal offering of the first fruits ears of corn dried by the fire, corn beaten out of fresh ears, and thou shalt put oil upon it, and lay on frankincense. It is a meal offering. And the priest shall burn the memorial part of it, of its beaten corn, and of its oil, with all its frankincense. It is an offering made by fire to the Lord. And if his offering be a sacrifice of peace offering, if he offer it of the herd, whether it be made of or male or female, he shall offer it without blemish before the Lord, and he shall lay his hand upon the head of his offering, and kill it at the door of the tent of meeting. And Aaron's sons the priests shall sprinkle the blood on the altar round about, and he shall offer the sacrifice of the peace offering, an offering made by fire to the Lord, the fat that covers the inwards, and all the fat that is upon the inwards, and the 2 kidneys, and the fat on them, which is by the flanks, and the appendage of the liver, with the kidneys, it shall he take away. And Aaron's son shall burn it on the altar upon the burnt sacrifice, which is upon the wood that is on the fire. It is an offering made by fire of a sweet savor to the Lord. And if his offering for a sacrifice of peace offering to the Lord be of the flock, male or female, he shall offer it without blemish. If he offer a lamb for his offering, then shall he offer it before the Lord, and he shall lay his hand upon the head of his offering, and kill it before the tent of meeting. And Aaron's son shall sprinkle its blood round about upon the altar, and he shall offer of the sacrifice of the peace offering, an offering made by fire to the Lord, its fat and the whole fat tail. It shall he take off hard by the backbone, and the fat that covers the inwards, and all the fat that is upon the inwards, and the 2 kidneys, and the fat that is upon them, which is by the flanks, and the appendage of the liver, with the kidneys. It shall he take away, and the priest shall burn it on the altar. It is the food of the offering made by fire to the Lord. And if his offering be a goat, then he shall offer it before the Lord, and he shall lay his hand upon its head, and kill it before the tent of meeting. And the sons of Aaron shall sprinkle its blood upon the altar round about. And he shall offer his offering from it, an offering made by fire to the Lord, the fat that covers the inwards, and all the fat that is upon the inwards, and the 2 kidneys, and the fat that is upon them, which is by the flanks, and the appendage of the liver, with the kidneys, it shall he take away. And the priest shall burn them upon the altar. It is the food of the offering made by fire for a sweet savor. All the fat that is the Lord's. All the fat is the Lord's. It shall be a perpetual statute for your generations throughout all your dwellings, that you eat neither fat nor blood. And the Lord spoke to Moshe, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, saying, If a soul shall sin through ignorance against any of the commandments of the Lord concerning things which ought not to be done, and shall go against any of them, if the priest that is anointed do sin and bring guiltiness on the people, then let him bring for his sin which he has sinned a young bullock without blemish to the Lord for a sin offering. And he shall bring the bullock to the door of the tent of meeting before the Lord, and shall lay his hand upon the bullock's head, and kill the bullock before the Lord. And the priest that is anointed shall take of the bullock's blood, and bring it to the tent of meeting. And the priest shall dip his finger in the blood, and sprinkle of the blood 7 times before the Lord, before the veil of the sanctuary. And the priest shall put some of the blood upon the horns of the altar of sweet incense before the Lord, which is in the tent of meeting, and shall pour all the blood of the bullock at the bottom of the altar of the burnt offering, which is at the door of the tent of meeting. And he shall take off from it all the fat of the bullock for the sin offering. the fat that covers the inwards, and all the fat that is upon the inwards, and the 2 kidneys, and the fat that is upon them which is by the flanks, and the appendage of the liver which with the kidneys it shall he take away, as it was taken off from the bullock of the peace offering. And the priest shall burn them upon the altar of the burnt offering. And the skin of the bullock and all its flesh, with its head and with its legs and its inwards and its dung, even the whole bullock shall he carry forth outside the camp to a clean place, where the ashes are poured out, and burn it on the wood with fire, where the ashes are poured out, shall it be burnt.